Welcome to Historical. I gotta get practiced at this. Okay, welcome to Historical Accuracy, where we offer listeners a chance to expand their definition of what it means to be a woman by spotlighting a new historical figure each week, and likely sharing a laugh or two or three or 50, because learning doesn't always have to be so damn serious.
Ah,
I'm Noelle Diatley.
and I'm Polly Paper Troika.
This podcast is great for anyone interested in the history of women, but it's also a great resource for writers looking to create dynamic female characters. And we have got a doozy today.
Another doozy. It never ends with the doozies.
But this one is very personal to me meaning for we will find out. Boudica, also known as Boudica. And I actually went down the rabbit hole of looking at the definitions and the pronunciations in our lovely Wikipedia with references from Brythonic Booty victory when ka having suffix, i.e., victorious women known in Latin chronicles as Boadicea or Boudicea and in Welsh as Buddig. And I really want to talk to my Irish linguist friend about that one, but for another time. So the history. Uh, I'm gonna use Boudica because that's the one that I was taught, and I prefer Boudica, but Boudica seems to keep falling out of my mouth. So, however you choose to say it, she was a badass honey badger ninja.
She was.
Oh my God. So she was around AD 30 to 61. So only about 30 years of her. And boy, what did she do in that short amount of time? She was queen to King Prasutagus of the Iceni tribe in eastern England, very Celtic tribe, and pro the king, we'll just call him the king because I don't want to keep saying Prasutagus.
Yeah, it's a long name.
Iceni,
Mm.
yeah, even though I just spit it out. Okay. He had aligned his kingdom with the Roman Empire, believing it would benefit, having the technology and the resources. Oh, but no. In his will, he willed his kingdom to his daughters and to co-rule with the Roman Empire.
Oh, the
Oh,
scandal. The-
to continue the partnership between my daughters and the Roman Empire, and of course you'll respect this.
of course.
No,
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 no.
no. Mm-mm.
Now, trigger warning for those listening. Boudica was flogged, and her daughters were raped by the Romans who invaded to take over the tribe.
Because they
And
wanted all of it. They weren't going to abide by that will at all.
exactly. Uh, she wasn't having any of that. It enraged her so much, which, you hurt any woman's children
Mhm.
and they're gonna go postal. They're just gonna lose it. And she did. But she didn't just, write a letter to the editor or she actually rose a revolt against the Roman Empire.
Well, she was the queen of the Celtics, really.
Right, but she not only got her tribe, she got neighboring tribes to rise up for what they had done.
Yes.
Now, Roman historian Tacitus, I love this, recorded her final words to her warriors because, of course, they lost. And he says, I quote, "But now it is not as a woman descended from noble ancestry, but as one of the people that I am avenging lost freedom, my scourged body, the outraged chastity of my daughters. But heaven is on the side of a righteous vengeance. If you weigh well the strength of the armies and the causes of the war, you will see that in this battle you must conquer or die. This is a woman's resolve. As for men, they may live and be slaves." So when she was captured by the Romans, she committed suicide rather than be killed.
She's the very essence of defiance and Like she would rather die than lose her freedom at the hands of somebody else, and let her people be. Yeah, and they seriously underestimated her and her ability to rally the troop. It was what, over like 100,000 uh people she rallied to this occasion in her rebellion.
I'd have to look it up,
I
but that's
think
why we have all these notes so we
I
can keep
think that's what I
it up.
saw.
Uh, yeah, and then the what's so important is that to me is that she was the image of her and what she did and her righteous vengeance and rising up an army, that she became a permanent fixture in art and literature.
Oh my
And
God, yeah.
the I
She became
want
her own archetype, basically. She's like the human equivalent of the big fishtail in a lot of ways, because it's like the story grew as it went. Who knows, they say, how much of it was actually truth. Like a lot of the men that originally wrote about her, put their spin on things, and the tail grew taller on down the line, so to speak. But the essence was definitely, she was definitely a real woman in history, and a lot of the main points, maybe the quotes attributed it to her might not be what she said, but what she did, yes.
Yeah, Tacitus was credited, but then the other Roman historians rewrote the account. They did not mention what was done to her or her daughters. They just said they put down a rebellion because, of course, the Roman Empire wanted to prove to the world, we run it. And
Yes.
so let's just erase what truly happened, that this uppity woman
Yes.
spoke up. But what fascinates me is that it's not until the 16th century that writers start writing stories about her.
Yeah,
And
books and novels and poetry.
art and yeah, all of it that was, but what really, in bringing it into the 20th century, she
Mhm.
was adopted by the suffragettes as one of the symbols of the campaign for women's suffrage. And there's currently a hit Broadway musical, best musical, Suffs, on Broadway right now, who I just found out, I did not know this, somebody I was in a play with at a theater company is in the play Suffs, or in the musical. Sorry, I
Oh,
keep
how
making
funny.
Broadway. They're on Broadway, and I know somebody in the cast, and that just makes it really cool because she's a very good actress. But back to the women's suffrage movement. Uh, in 1908, and in this reference, it was Boudica.
Hmm.
A Boudica banner was carried in several National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies marches. She appears as a character in A Pageant of Great Women written by Cicely Hamilton, and she was described in a 1909 pamphlet as the eternal feminine, the guardian of the hearth, the avenger of its wrongs upon the defacer and the despoiler. Sorry, I have to do it with that enthusiasm because those words just incite, you see the women suffragettes going, "We will vote, we will vote."
Ah! Yeah, here she was, this woman in history, but again, as the tale grew taller on down the line, she did become this symbolic symbol. Well, symbolic symbol is it not? Sorry, but anyway,
She
of the
was so
struggle for injustice and independence. Like, and everybody used it for their own purposes to inspire themselves. I half wonder if, what was that Disney movie with the redheaded girl? Um, well,
Blaze,
no,
no, red, uh,
she's a female warrior. I'm like, oh, maybe there was some roots in there of
Milan, Milan,
no, she was
the
Celtic.
redheaded.
I can't.
Oh, um, I know who you're talking about, and I can see it, but I can't think of
I
it.
should be prepared for that, but I'm not.
There's no shooting
But
around here.
all of a sudden I saw that red blazing hair, and it's kind of how they described her as being this, and who knows if that's even true, but this larger than life woman with the big
Well, the
blazing.
Romans even described her as a very large woman, and
Mm-hmm.
Celts were known for their size and stature. But
Yeah,
also, a woman who stands up to men like that is going to seem larger than life. You know, the
yeah,
mythical figure is always going to be bigger, stronger, you know, and like you said, the story grows as it is told from
yeah.
one person to the next. I will say that my excitement about Boudica is that I first learned of Boudica in the was it the late 80s? It was like 88. Uh when these two women, a couple that I knew, and I was couch surfing at the time, their dog was named Boudica.
How
And
funny.
Boudica was the sweetest little pit bull you've ever met. And I was sick, and this lovely, you know, tan colored, sweet girl of a pit bull just curled up next to me on the couch bed, and I was like, dogs are awesome.
Hmm.
But that's where I learned about the Boudica and there are many they think one of the women I was staying with told me that Boudica was actually the origin of the slang term dyke. Now, there are many interpretations of you know, where the word or the dike, the bull dike, you know, I qualified as a diesel dike once, all of that. But so in Wikipedia it says dyke is a slang term used as a noun meaning lesbian. It originated as a homophobic slur for masculine butch or androgynous girls or women. Pejorative use of the word still exists, but the term dyke has been reappropriated by many lesbians to imply assertiveness or toughness. And there's also or that it was a dialectical corruption of the name of the rebel queen Boadicea, Boudica, Boudica.
Really?
Yes. So that
Holy shit.
the first time that I learned about where Dyke might have come from. And after that, I couldn't find anything other than reading it, you know, in my research.
Because
About,
they had to label her and place her somehow.
yeah.
And then
And it's like, fine, call me a Dyke. I am Boudica.
I'll take
Sure,
it.
I'll take it.
Yes, I will take it. Well, and the whole thing, the whole joke of it is too that I saw is that a lot of the reason she was so successful in fighting back is because they underestimated her.
Really? Wow.
Oh yeah, they were off. They thought they'd shamed her, and the governor or whoever was the head of the Roman stuff back then was off doing other things, and she rallied her troops in like quick form and caught them with their pants down in a sense. They did not. They completely underestimated her. It's like that whole go ahead and underestimate me. That'll be fun. Uh,
Well, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned.
and so then of course because there's you know I saw some truth to that they did invent that name potentially, and I could see them turning around and inventing that name like you said to try to you know
Yeah.
put
Did,
her back in some
yeah,
kind of form so they could still feel good about themselves.
right. Word origins are fun, but um, what I got to thinking about, you know, because we're uh trying or part of our journey here is to inspire writing the,
Yes,
the fictional characters.
yes.
Uh and the first one I thought of was Wonder Woman, and especially in the latest iteration,
Gal Gadot.
Gal, uh, our gal, and portraying and in that first movie. You have Robin Wright, who was also um, in House of Cards, and I just blanked on that character's name,
Mhm.
but she had to close out the series. Why? Don't need to go there. But the other thing that it reminded me of, because of Wonder Woman, was my first college play I was cast in was Carol Churchill's Dull Grat. And Carol Churchill is known as a playwright who takes on strong women characters and really speaks truth to power about women's issues. And one of the characters that I portrayed was Dull Gret, who is based on the Pieter Bruegel painting from 1564. And Gret was a figure of
Based on the
Flemish.
painting?
Yes, yes. One of
Interesting.
the
Like
characters.
somebody saw the painting and then got inspired to write a whole play
Well, this is
that
one
they,
scene for Top
okay.
Girls.
Uh-huh.
So I played two characters. I played Gret and Angie.
Hmm.
Gret is in the opening scene of Carol's fantasy of powerful women in history. And we should do that and talk about all these women that she had at the table.
I think we're
But that,
going down a
yeah,
wormhole.
but Gret was a figure of Flemish folklore. Say that 5 times fast. Flemish folklore. She was a virago, and I got to look up that definition. She leads an army of women to pillage hell. Gret was a disparaging name given to any bad-tempered, shrewish woman. Her mission refers to the Flemish proverb, she could plunder in front of hell and return unscathed. What a powerful figure. That, yeah, and thinking, that's at the time when they actually start writing about Boudica.
It
And
is
then,
amazing to me that this one woman could inspire. I mean, like you said, then suddenly in the 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, there's poetry books, there's novels, there's all with this basically new female archetype that she sort of inspired, really. This, the woman scorned, the mother, the warrior queen, the avenging
Leia,
mother. Huh?
the Princess Leia.
Yeah, the exactly. And then there's actually she's inspired all kind, like you said, the suffragettes. There another fun fact, she was once thought to have been, there's all these legends. They thought she was buried at a place which lies now between platforms 9 and 10 in King's Cross Station in London. Although
Oh,
there's no evidence of this, but it's just that it kept going. This legend just keeps being continued on. And I half wonder, there's a bunch of films too, by the way, which we'll put links if anyone wants to, if any of you writers are inspired and want to see more. There was a film done in 1927 about her. There was a British historic, which it was a British silent historical film. Silent historical, interesting.
a
There
lot
was
of
called The
subtitles.
Warrior Queen in 1978, which was a British television series. There was a British biographical historical film. Um, there's Boudica, a British action film that's 2023. This just happened. Yeah, I just saw the trailer for it. It looks pretty damn badass, but it's a full blown like a Marvel movie type of thing, but it's Boudica.
Well,
Um, yeah.
what about um, other characters that represent that archetype? I mean, I brought up Princess Leia.
Well,
Uh,
I have to wonder. You asked me that, but I have to wonder if, for example, Sarah Connor in the Terminator,
yes. Oh my.
you know, I know, and even, or Ripley in Aliens,
Oh,
or this is a fun one. You have to wonder if Quentin Tarantino was inspired, Kill Bill, the
yeah,
bride. Because, he would do something like that. I could see him, uh,
yeah, yeah. And
creating, yeah, I
I
don't know.
Viola Davis just did a movie recently, I think on Netflix or Max. The Queen Warrior. Oh,
Yes, I haven't seen that one, but I would like to see it. She's so
well, but
amazing.
Viola Davis, anything she plays,
Anything,
she is
all of
going
it.
she is going to bring her badass honey badger ninja to that
She
role.
is the badass honey
The
badger ninja.
widow, the help, even
Mhm.
in her role in the help, she was still just she's just such a an inspirational woman
Mhm.
that uh she's a great representative of that strength of character.
She is that warrior. I mean, in real life, if you look at her actual life history, she is that warrior. So, yeah.
That's exciting.
It is. All right.
Wait, well, if I were writing a character, I mean, wow, just thinking about all the different, I wouldn't necessarily want like a comic book figure like
Mm.
Wonder Woman, but or the Warrior Queen, the warrior, but man, a Sarah Connor, anybody Viola Davis would play. She did a great
Mhm.
role in Widows, where she was, that movie just surprised me
Yeah.
because she came off as, just a school teacher that started the character. But then
Hmm.
another tribe trying to come in and steal from her, and she gathered up her little tribe and did things that were completely unexpected. And
Well, yeah, and I would say to that point, even you could even write stories that don't have all that incredible violence of the times and all that kind of stuff, merely from there's elements to her story that is her husband wanted to leave her his kingdom. That was his
right,
intention. He
right.
wanted to leave her his kingdom and he wanted to leave it to his daughters. Um, and so the whole inciting incident is that, there's someone going to take that away. In this case, it was the whole damn Roman Empire, but you could write a much smaller story. It could be a small town story, even, as long as there's these elements of somebody is trying to take away what is rightfully left to you
Ooh.
and disparaging you and your daughters thinking, that you're going to go down easy, and her actually being somebody that actually is way more powerful than they think because she has the support of her community. Like they love her. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be a violent thing. It could be uh because I see those themes right now. Like it could be rooted
Hey,
in love.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
I
no, yeah.
say in
I'm
love.
just saying that it could be one of those things where there's all kinds of ways to take people down, and in a symbolically, what she did is she refused to back down from somebody who was trying to intimidate her, or a whole empire. And she gathered her people and she inspired them to stand up and say no. Now, there's all kinds of ways that could look like. Back in the time she lived in, there was no other way than absolutely just off with your head. But,
Yeah.
nowadays, thankfully, we've evolved just a very tiny,
We have our ways today. Bless our hearts.
but we could do still in honoring that sort of warrior spirit. There's a new kind of warrior that can rise up too, and we can have stories that are still inspired by that willingness to stand up that don't have to end in like hundreds of thousands of
Of
death.
death. Well, and I blurted out and interrupted you with Norma Ray. I just had this image of
Yes, yes, yes.
Sally Field standing up with the sign, and just turning around with the sign and this look on her face, Union,
Yep,
you know,
yep,
and and
totally.
she based on a real person who helped unionize, was it auto workers or, anyway, but
See, and to me, that's that archetype in another another form as well. You use the resources or the, whatever you have, but it's still being able to rally community to stand up for something, which is what she did. And
Well, and we should then,
yeah,
uh, got anything else? Because we can wrap it up
no,
now.
now we'll wrap it up. I hope we've inspired some of you to, obviously there's already been so many writers throughout history that have been inspired by her, but why not some more, and why not make it more current day? But yeah, now she's going to read this book that we've been using, gives you a little inspiration based on each woman in history, something to think about. If
Thank you, Sarah Shipman, for our
yes,
tarot inspiration.
we love it. Be
And
sure
but
to
I
buy that book. We'll put a link.
will always have links.
Yeah.
Squirrel brain. Thank you, Sarah Shipman, and your inspiration. And Boudica, Boudiga, Bodega, Bodega, boot, you say potato, I say Boudica. The Six of Wands, that's Boudica's card. It epitomizes one's feelings at the moment of personal triumph. This card offers you encouragement as you press on in your journey, suggesting that you are on the righteous path. You are reminded that that this achievement is not the end of your journey. You will face more obstacles, but remember, you had the courage, skill, and fortitude to win before, and you can do it again because you got people, you got support, you have a tribe.
Love it.
So consider these questions. What battles are you facing? How can you prepare yourself for victory? Who can you rely on for help? You got us. We're going to inspire you every week. It's going to
Every
be.
week.
Thanks for joining us. Looking forward to who's in the batter's box for next week. Well, we'll let you know.
We will find out
Hint, hint.
overnight. Bye.